I'm gonna try it on this video.
Nice.
We'll create a thumbnail and then do some keyword searches. You have time for that?
Yeah.
And this will probably be like the biggest video I have because that's the only one people can.
They'll find it.
Hi, I'm Tony with Hippie and the Tech, and today we have a special guest, Stacy Farley with...
You, me, and the RV.
Of course you know who she is, come on. And we've been working on some video editing and some lighting and cameras, and
He's been teaching me is what he means to say.
I'm trying to spend Phil's money. It's your money, let's be honest.
It's going to be spent.
Yeah, why not? And so this morning she came in and said, hey, you want to learn how to grow your YouTube channel? I was like, yeah. From you? Are you kidding? Sure, let's do this. So that's what we're doing now.
Yep. I don't know everything, but I'll share what I've learned along the way. Well, the first thing I want you to know, and I want everyone to know, is YouTube cannot be an emotional game. So if you are, and we all love our videos, it's a heart and soul, we put all our work into it.
Our babies.
I know, and they don't get viewed, you can't take it personal. That's the big thing, because it can be emotionally draining and discouraging when that happens. So it's not always a reflection on how good your content is. It's a reflection on if your content is being found. So you have to remember that. All right, so let's talk about the most important thing with YouTube, and that's being found.
Okay.
So your videos don't have to be epic. They don't have to be cinematic. They could be slightly above par. I mean, just barely watchable. And if you have the right thumbnail and the right title, you'll be found.
Okay, so all the work that I've been putting into making them cinematic and beautiful.
No, that's important because that's retention. That's how you're going to keep people. You have to.
But we got to get them there first.
But you got to be found.
Okay.
So the first thing is the title. Now, once you have subscribers, the title is not important, but the goal is getting new subscribers all the time. Okay. So your title has to be something that people will search for. Okay. So what people will put into the YouTube search bar, or most importantly, the Google search bar to find you, because they're a team. It's the same company. So if we look at some of your titles here, even flipping the fifth. So even though it was epic, it wasn't found because nobody searches for flipping fifth.
No.
So
unless they're wanting to flip a fifth wheel, but then it doesn't really say what it is.
Right. Yeah. So they won't necessarily use those terms. So, and another big thing, it's recommended not to put episode numbers in the title because nobody's ever
Son of a gun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I basically checked off everything not to do.
Right. But you don't know until you know.
I had that list.
So, do a search on your page, sort by the most viewed. Let's see what those titles are.
Cheap hand
Battleborn. So Battleborn is a trigger. People search Battleborn batteries all the time.
RV fire.
Now the fire, those views are your thumbnail. So once people started seeing that, your thumbnail took that away and nobody cared about the title. They didn't search for it. That was just one of those.
They saw the fire and
yes,
like, ooh.
and that went crazy.
Yeah.
And it's the same with anytime you do a walkthrough or a review, those are big. People will search specific names, Mobile Suites or Mobile Suites Fifth Wheel or whatever. So those are always a really good one for finding new subscribers. So, but if you go down RV renovation, that's another big one.
Okay.
So now go down to the opposite and look at your least viewed. So your birthday. Nobody's gonna search for Tony's birthday.
Okay, this was more from like family.
I know, but I'm just saying. So, and then with this one, St. Louis Arch, that will be a big searchable one, but that's going to be oversaturated.
Too general.
Yeah, so unless you are, have 1 million subscribers, you're probably not going to be at the top.
Gotcha.
So that's one way to look at it.
So we ran across the St. Louis Arch would be more.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Or, I don't know. You can always play with that. And now one good thing about YouTube is once you figure out how to name them, you can always go back and rename or put in a new thumbnail, and YouTube will be like, oh, they're changing this up. Let's see if anything will happen with it. So sometimes you can get a little burst of views. It's not going to be like the first 48 hours. I should say more than likely not going to be like the first initial push, but it can like play with it and it might get your click-through rate up higher.
Okay.
So just by changing a title and a thumbnail, because they know, oh, okay, so maybe it didn't fit, or are you trying something new, and they'll go with that too.
So like where I've got vlog number 3, nowhere to stay in Santa Fe. So I'd been better off just leaving that off.
Yeah, and put nowhere to stay in Santa Fe.
All right.
Now you can put it on your thumbnail if that's important to your channel, because people will do that.
It's really not. I mean, this was, how long ago was that? That was probably over a year ago. And we were actually just doing a vlog series of us traveling from one side of the country to the other, and the things we saw. And honestly, so we went from that to top questions. We were kind of trying to find ourselves, and I think maybe that's something that if somebody's starting a YouTube channel, they need to kind of figure out what are we trying to do, because at first this was really about, if I scroll to the oldest, it was really about kind of showing our family where
what
we
you're
are.
doing. And a lot of channels start that way. It's really to show family, like, hey, we're not totally nuts. This RV thing is, and traveling is a cool idea.
And still didn't get the point across that we weren't nuts. But
us either.
Tried. And so I think what I'm wanting to do next, because there's so many how-tos out there also, I think I may rename the Flippin' Fifth thing to something else. On the titles, I can't change the intro because that took me a long time to make.
But the intro's cool, and the intro has nothing to do with your searchability and being found. But flipping, remodeling, those are huge. Those are big. Yeah, those are big. People search for those big time. So I think
just changing that series, the titles. What about the thumbnails?
So thumbnails are still hard for me too. But a few things that I have learned is less is more with words. Okay. They should be big so they can be easily seen on a phone.
Okay.
Left side is usually better than right, because on your phone the time will eat up. So try not to have anything at the bottom.
Okay.
The big hit colors are not YouTube colors. So red and black are always no, because they blend in. Those are YouTube colors, and you might gloss over. Blue and yellow are big colors on YouTube, or anything bright that stands out.
So I kind of got lucky on these. So I mean, I have started to try to do more of the thumbnail thing. This one worked out good, probably because you guys were in it. Same thing with that one. Maybe I just need you in all of our videos.
I don't think so.
This one actually did really well. But I think that was
that's
because
emotion.
of the title, huh?
If you throw emotion in, if they're that and people can relate to it, they'll click on it.
Okay.
So emotion is big with titles.
All right.
So let's look at some of the tools I have. All right, so the people on YouTube who explode, who are on there for 6 months and get 100,000 subscribers.
Those are the people we hate.
We do.
Right,
It's not fair. But the way they do it is they show up on Google. So they show up as a video in a search on Google, and they're in the first 3. That's how they do it. So your goal is not just to rank on YouTube, but it's also to rank on Google. So if you can find the perfect spot, and we actually are on a couple of Google searches.
So how do you do that?
Here's how you do it. I'm glad you asked. I'm going to show you. All right. The big thing is keywords. So keywords is an extension you can add on. It does cost money, but it is dirt cheap. Seriously cheap. Google.com is where you go, and then you start trying to figure out what you want your title to be. So we can start with Fifth Renos. And if it will work as it's supposed to, there we go. So it will tell you how many people a month type this in Google and search for it.
Wow.
So if we go flip RV, so whatever you want to do, and it's going to tell you 1,000 people a month search for that. So that's how you kind of start coming up with how you're going to name your title, your video. Now, the smaller your channel is, the more you really have to consider this, because you have to remember you'll be outranked by bigger channels. So let's go ahead and hit it and go to Google. You want to have the least amount of results possible, because the least amount of results means you will rank higher on Google. And your goal is to be a video on Google. That's how you get to 100,000 in 6 months.
Okay.
So what I do is I go here first, and this can take me an hour or 2 to figure out maybe what title. This is just the title.
You can see the concern in my face. I got my hand. I'm like, oh.
It can take time.
This is work.
So I will go back, and once I find, say we liked Flip RV, right? So this one came up with, let's say it came up with 50,000 searches a month and only had 200,000 results, right? So then I go over here to YouTube and I have TubeBuddy.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is that's also going to help me. What did we say? We were going to use Flip RV. Now this is going to show me how it's going to rank in YouTube. I can't always get a good search on Google because sometimes there's just too much info, like Yellowstone. I mean, there's a million Yellowstone blogs and videos. So in YouTube land, this is telling me excellent. It's 84 out of 100. But here, 84 is excellent. Anything over 40 is good. So what this is comparing is the search volume, how many people are actually typing this exact thing, and what your competition is. So it averages those two together, and that's how searchable you are.
Okay.
So now if you're unsure of what to do, there are a couple things you can do. You can actually go into one of these related, and you can see what those are. Or you can go to...
So that's 47 out of 100. So the search volume being poor, is that there's too many people searching?
There's not enough people searching for it.
Okay.
There's no competition out there for you, so...
Because there's nobody really looking
and
for
nobody's
it.
searching for it.
Okay.
So another thing that you can do too to make you searchable, of course, is the big thing is how you set your video up. So you found a great title. It's searchable on Google as well as on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to come in and set it all up. So let's go into, let's do this one. So you're going to go in the back, and there's a couple things you have to do to help your ranking. One is not only do you have your name, but that's also going to be the title of your video is actually going to be what you save your video as.
Okay.
It's also going to be the name of your thumbnail. So now your searchable is your thumbnail, your file, and your video. Next, you're going to come down here to your tags. The title of your video should be your very first tag, no matter what the number is for being searchable.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're going to come through here. You're going to come up with some kind of search, and then you're going to click on it. And then TubeBuddy is going to tell you if that's a good keyword for you. So this one is 46. And with Yellowstone, 46 is actually pretty good.
Okay.
So I'll go through, I'll come up with a whole bunch, and I'll put them all in. And for me, if it is less than 30, I delete it. I don't do anything less than 30 on my keywords. Now, Yellowstone, I really had a hard time coming up with them because it's such a popular topic.
Sure.
You can also come down here and they'll actually help you. So I will sort keyword score, and I'll go through here and see if there's any I want to use, because you can see the searchability or the keyword score is already on here. So sometimes I'll pull some of these.
Now, does it, having the amount of tags, does that help or hurt you? Because I've seen people with a couple tags with the exploded video, and then I've seen people with a zillion tags with no views.
So it could be one of two things. An exploded video with 0 tags probably is the thumbnail.
Okay.
So it's emotional, it's something in it makes it take off. The second thing is you can have 1 million keywords there, but if they all are 10, that means they're not going to do anything for you. They're useless.
So I need a bunch of thumbnails of me just crying. Please watch me.
Help me, help me. So, and even if it's perfect, it doesn't mean it's going to work. So, but you set yourself up for as much as possible. Also, when you're doing your write-up, I always do my write-up last. And my write-up, it's not always grammatically correct, nor does it always make complete sense in my sentence structure. Because I
do that too, but it's not intentional.
What I do is, all right, so I always cut and paste. My title is in here again because your description is searchable. So it's in part of the keyword search. So everything here, that's the first thing that goes here. And then after that, what I'm doing is my most searchable keywords.
Oh.
I am putting them exactly in my description. So if it's Cody WI cheap camping. I got to figure out how to make that a sentence. And then I repeat those as much as possible here.
Wow, okay.
So there's a lot to it, to being found and searched out.
Man, you know what? I don't think a lot of people know this.
Maybe I don't want them to know. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
We'll just
More competition. No,
right?
Just kidding. No, I don't think. I look at YouTube kind of differently. I don't really look at it, YouTubers, as competition. I mean, obviously there are a million, zillion videos out there, and I think collaboration will take you farther than competition.
I know the collabs I've done with you guys have done very well.
So those are my two biggest tools for being found. And then let's go to thumbnail. So for thumbnails, you're a picture guy, photo guy. I use Canva. I used to use Photoshop, but it takes longer. Canva is super quick. I can go right in here, grab my last one, and just tweak it a little bit. And remember, emotion, anything huge, like, you know, the RV fire, any kind of emotion, are going to get grabbed before, you know, something ordinary that you see all the time.
Okay.
So that's kind of, now thumbnails are one, I still struggle with them all the time. As a matter of fact, let's go here.
I have this app called Thumbnail Creator. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt because it's on your phone, but you're able to, you know, add text and create thumbnails on it. This is the last one I did. Look at Phil.
Nice. All right, so I am working on our video for the 31st. So I have 3 thumbnails. Now, you haven't seen the video. What's in the video kind of is not relevant, although whatever your thumbnail is and your title is, it has to be in the video. So don't, if you lure people in with, I forget, not spam, what's it called? Clickbait. With clickbait, YouTube will find you out and you will not rank anymore. They have algorithms that they'll figure it out, because once people realize that's not in your video, they start jumping quickly.
So the image has to be in.
Well, the image doesn't have to be, but the subject matter actually has to pertain to your video.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't have to be an image from your video. You can totally make your own photo, and I gotta tell you, the ones that we don't pull from our video actually usually rank better when we, you know, are creative and make it up than when we do pull them. But we don't always have time. So I have 3 thumbnails here for possibly for the video. So there's this one. The goal is, what would you most likely click on if you were scrolling? And whether you're a subscriber or not. So this is the first one. This is the second one. And I put this one, this says propane fill-up. I put it here because people are always asking about propane. And then the last one is this one. So
I like that one.
Those are this one I like the most.
Yeah.
The only thing is, this is kind of clickbaity because it's not technically true. I will get totally slammed. This is a Harvest Host. Harvest Hosts are not free. It's an annual subscription.
It's free after you pay for your subscription.
So that's not free. But technically, you know, because we use them so often, it's pennies for us. So that would be my only hesitancy for putting that up, because we will get comments saying, that's not free.
Right.
So that's my favorite one because I know what it is and I know what it's about. But
yeah, that's your hemp farm.
Yeah. And it was cool. So thumbnails are way, way important. So it is important to take your time. And if you need to, you know, I'll make a couple, I'll send them to friends and get some ideas. You know, what do you think's best? And that helps too.
It's really taking the time to do the research.
I've learned a lot.
That you have.
Yeah.
You know, I've been focusing on the front end, which is having the right equipment, you know.
Our first year was completely with Phil's cell phone and a gimbal. So another thing to think about is if you're having trouble coming up with content. So like when we sit, especially like during COVID, you know, we run out of travel stuff. We're not going anywhere. You have to come up with ideas. That is a great way to go into Google and just search random stuff and see how it ranks, and then make a video on a topic instead of the opposite way around.
So order of importance, when you're talking about topics, you may want to research your topic, or if you have a good topic you want to film, don't worry so much about the production quality, but more about finding the keywords to name what your video is about.
And that you have to make it searchable. I mean, there has to be enough video quality to where people want to continue to watch it once they find it. So it, you know, it can't be total junk. Like, like you don't want to break the golden rule. Like you never record vertical. That's like number one.
Instagram is really ruining, and TikTok.
Yes.
They're ruining people. These kids have no idea
that they need to record horizontally.
You know?
So there are, you know, there are a few things to video, but that, you know, that could be a whole different video for us later. But big thing is your title must be searchable. Your thumbnail has to be engaging because they see the thumbnail first before they read the title. So as you're scrolling through your phone on YouTube, you see thumbnail, and then most people will read that. If it's interesting enough, they never even read the title, they watch. If they're questioning it, then they go to the title. Now
that's a good point, because I do that.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
Now when you're searching on YouTube for something specific, you know, things will pop up, Yellowstone, whatever you're looking for. So you want your video on the first page. First, that's how you get found. And then if you're lucky enough to make it to a Google search, you know, they have those 3 videos, you're golden.
I'm gonna try it on this video.
Nice.
We'll create a thumbnail and then do some keyword searches. You have time for that?
Yeah.
And well, this will probably be like the biggest video I have, because that's the only one people can
They'll find it. Whoop, whoop, this is fun. So,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'll do something like this on my channel. Top 10 ways to, I don't know, to get your videos out there on YouTube. Who knows?
Well,
I'll have to find a title, right?
Research it first, right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This has been a fun week.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
All right, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Please watch my video.
Help me.